Moms of Reddit, what do you know about your child that you will never tell to him/her? My son's grandparents have custody of him in Australia. His mother and I were a one-time fling on a beach in North Carolina along with another girl at the same time. She went to prison for trafficking large quantities of drugs in Australia, which is a major offense over there. I think she's serving 25 to life or something. One day I was called by the Australian version of Child Services, telling me that I need to come pick up my son. I didn't even know that I had a son until then. He was 7 at the time. Apparently what had happened was she put my name down on his birth certificate and kept my contact info on a bookmark that hung from her rearview mirror. His grandparents came and got him. They tell him that his daddy is off fighting in the war, and I've only spoken with him twice. I have sent over my part of a paternity test a few times to see if he is actually mine or not, but his grandparents keep ignoring them. I think they are afraid that I will just show up one day and take him away. He doesn't really know me, and it would be awkward for me to take custody of a 12-year-old that I don't even know if he is mine or not. I think he's gonna be pissed when he finds out the truth, so I took a leather-bound journal and wrote out all the things about me that I think he should know, along with the real story about why I wasn't around. I've included several stories about me and my time in the army, my travels, and a lot of good advice covering many situations that he may find himself in, complete with glossary and index. I wrapped up this journal along with my own dog-eared copy of the Ranger Handbook with my own notes written in, an old set of my dog tags, and a way to contact me. I sent it to a lawyer's office in Australia with instructions to deliver it to him on his 18th birthday. I'm looking forward to the Reddit post about his delivery when the time comes. My 3-year-old is a very affectionate little guy, but he's very embarrassed about his being affectionate. He thinks I don't know he comes into my room every morning for snuggles and then sneaks out when I wake up. Edit. Lots of people asking why he's embarrassed, and the answer is because I mercilessly ridicule him. No, but in all seriousness he's just an all-around shy guy. I think it's just phase, and he's actually been a lot better lately. I caught my son once pretending to milk himself into a bucket while taking a bath. He was only around 4 years old, so I don't think he remembers, but he was hovering over a bucket and squeezing his penis. I asked him what he was doing, and he told me he was pretending his penis was an udder and he was trying to get milk. I said okay honey, and slowly closed the door. The end. When my first wife was 4 months pregnant, she was diagnosed with stage 3 out of 4 breast cancer. At 18 weeks the doctor gave her a few choices. Her best chance of survival was to abort the baby and have aggressive chemo. We talked about it, and she decided to try and carry our son to term. They delivered our son healthy, about 6 weeks early. She died about 5 months after he was born. I have since remarried, and he is now almost 18. I don't plan on telling him that she saved him at her expense. It was a tough time and I don't blame him, and never have. Edit. Thanks for the gold, my first. I have been a lurker for a few years, but felt the need to tell my story, now standing in central London, tears streaming. Anyway, we are all happy and well adjusted now. I will think long and hard about how to tell him the truth. Thanks for all the nice words. Edit 2. I'm overwhelmed by the comments and advice. I've been in London in meetings all morning, and I have been useless at my job today. I just wanted to address a few things here. After her mastectomy and a lengthy biopsy, she was found to have an extremely aggressive type of breast cancer. In fact, we later found out it had spread considerably. The treatment would have been in vain. Even if we had aborted, her life expectancy would probably have been less than 2 years. We made the choice to keep him before we knew this. Invasive treatments and MRI/multiple X-rays would have put some risk on my son, so we took a choice. He knows she died of cancer, and he knows it was soon after he was born, but not the details. He never knew his mom. He does not grieve for her. It's cold, but true. She has written to him a number of letters, the first of which he gets at 18, the next at 21. And the final one when he gets married. They are sealed and private. I have no wish to open them, but it remains possible that she will detail what happened, although I think it's unlikely, as before she died she made me promise to protect him from the pain of her illness and decision. I know he injured at least 2 people, and was injured himself at least once at political rallies that turned into brawls. Some nights he would came home bleeding and with a black eye. He was a boxer, so I thought nothing of it, and I'm sure a few of those were boxing injuries, but I know he was hurt a few times in those political riots. Nearly a decade later, he moved out, and of the country. Coincidentally, my husband and I finally decided it was time to pack up his old room and turn his bedroom into something else. We found a few things that linked him to local fascist groups, just a few scraps he probably forgot to take with him. One of those things was an old newspaper clipping where I can clearly see him delivering a hard punch to the face of a political opponent. He's in a disguise, but I still recognize the clothes he was wearing. Then there was another picture from the same article where the guy he punched is laying on the ground, and my son is getting ready to hit someone else. After we gathered everything incriminating, my husband and I decided to burn the evidence he left behind. Nothing could be gained by keeping those things. The articles were quite old, and my son moved to a new country that doesn't have his brand of fascism. My son followed a specific local type of fascism. That the only reason I taught my kids how to play poker was so that I could learn their tells and know when they're lying to me. Edit. It started with them making up stupid lies and expecting me to believe them. Yes, Mom. I brushed my teeth. Even though there's clearly still bits of food in between their braces, and their toothbrush was bone dry. I figured that teaching them how to play poker would help them learn how to lie better, with the added benefit of learning their mannerisms when they lied in the first place. I will never, ever tell my daughter that when she was 1 week old I accidentally threw her across the room onto a wood floor. It was about 2 AM. I was breastfeeding her in the living room, and a huge spider crawled on my arm. The whole new baby late at night thing made me stupid, so my reaction was to use the arm I was holding the baby in to get the spider off my other arm. My little girl went flying. It was horrible. She was fine, though. Completely unharmed, just kind of pissed off. No one tell her. You can't just offer your baby to a spider to make it go away. I went for a walk once with my daughter when she was about a year old. It was along a cement paved path that went through this little scenic park area. Lots of suburban nature and shit. I had brought the stroller along, but she was getting a bit antsy, so I took her out and sat her on the handle, facing me, and I held onto her waist and basically used her bum and my forearms to push the stroller. As we walked, this section of the pavement in front of us just ended up being just covered in crickets. I don't know why there were so many. I had never known this trail to have crazy amounts of crickets midday. Well, I anxiously start pushing through them with the stroller, hoping if I move slowly, they'll have time to hop out of the way. They mostly hopped away, but one hopped right up onto my daughter's face. I panicked, and in a split-second reaction, I straight up smacked her. The cricket hopped off her face again before I got to it, but she looked at me so stunned and started crying. And then I cried because I felt horrible, but I couldn't stop laughing because of how stupid the whole thing was. Got lots of weird looks as I cried/laughed the rest of the short walk home. She will never know. Dad here. I don't like my daughter. She's a bad person. She's mean, vindictive, and she has no empathy for others. She ran away from home repeatedly at age 12 to 13. She had a baby at 14. I love the baby. He's a cool dude. She's not an awful mom, but she's definitely a teenager. She always wants to go out with friends, and I sometimes wish she'd go and stay gone. Just like, get arrested and put in jail. They'd help her finish school or get a GED. She refused to attend even one day of high school, and made my life miserable when I tried to make her go. Plus, the kid would have me as a primary influence in his life, and I made so many mistakes raising her. I was young too, but I now feel ready to raise a kid, and I have a great relationship with the grandbaby. I could be a strong father figure in his life. He needs me. He's got no one else to help him like I do. Would I ever try to make any bad stuff happen to my daughter? Of course not. Would I try to help her if she got into legal trouble? Oh yes. Would I ever undermine her in regards to her baby? No way. Never. Even when she is dead wrong. She gives him a bottle when he's falling asleep, but I read that you shouldn't do that. I told her once, and she didn't listen, so I dropped it. When she gets mad at me, I try to text her and tell her why she's acting inappropriately, and her reply will usually be something like, "As soon as I got enough money, you and my stupid mom are never gonna see me or my son again. Lol. And you can forget my number cause we ain't call you or nothing ever. Ah ha 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 ha. Bye." That's her. That's the kind of person she is, because I was a lousy dad to her. I did the best I could, but I was weak a lot of the time. I know that now. Heck, I knew it even back when she was young. I love her. With all of my heart. I'd give my own life for her. I've worked tirelessly to provide for her, her mother, and now her baby. But I don't like her. People tell me that she'll be easier to get along with when she's in her 20s. I just wish she'd go away till then, so I didn't have this daily reminder of what a failure I was as a father. I'd never reveal any of this to her. I remained supportive and helpful. She was driving a car with no license and no insurance against my wishes, so I imposed on her that we get her license, and she did it with her mom and failed twice. She only took it seriously when I took her to do it. See, that's what I do. I push her to be better. Her mom doesn't. Her mom just hopes that she'll accomplish things and do well. I make her accomplish things. But it's exhausting, and I can't do it forever. Sometimes I get weak being the only one trying. Like I said, I love her. With all of my heart, I do. I just don't like her. She's from a different planet than I am. And I look forward to only seeing her on holidays and stuff. Best comment of the day. During my first year of being married to my wife, she still felt shy and embarrassed to fart in bed, so every night, whenever she needed to fart, she'd get up, go to the bathroom in our room, turn on the faucet to maximum, and use the loud running water to drown out the noise of her farting. It was really cute how she thought that I didn't know. This went on for 2 months before she stopped making the effort to hide it and finally felt comfortable enough to fart in bed. When she stopped making the effort to hide her farting, I saw a chance to poke fun at her and said to her one night, "How come you're not trying to hide your farting anymore?" I will never forget the look on her face when she realized I knew all along. Priceless moment.